Mike, the owners' meetings are this week. There's been some buzz about some different rule changes, and it's just like an opportunity for all of these league people to see each other once again. They always get an opportunity to do that, but everybody in one place. There were some rumblings yesterday about some tush push
Yeah.
back and forth about that. There were a couple of reports about that. So what do we expect to hear from the owners' meetings this week?
Yeah, owners meetings is a big one for a couple of things. They have multiple owners meetings a year, but this is the one where a lot of rules get passed. The competition committee presents all these new rule changes that either have been proposed to them by teams or that they've come up with themselves that they suggest. So this is the main time of year. There are other times when it can happen, but this is the main time of year when rule changes happen. And then you've already seen it Monday morning, bleary-eyed coaches having coffee with reporters. We'll see the NFC coaches, including Kellen Moore, on Wednesday morning talking to reporters. We've had a lot of access to Kellen Moore this year. There are some years where we haven't talked to Sean Payton since, season wrap-up press conference, and we got a lot of questions for him. But we've talked with Kellen Moore on a lot of things, including the Super Bowl, the Saints making him available for us, his introductory press conference. Y'all go into Baton Rouge for the coaches clinic. So
Yeah.
we're learning a lot about the coach, but another hour with him tomorrow. But league wide, tush push has taken the headline. It's so funny. I just texted my family group chat, but obviously the three of us have texted about this all the time. Me, you, and Nick. Nick is absolutely this is so weak. If you can't stop it, learn how to stop it. If you can't do it, learn how to do it. I mean, and that's exactly what I said. Like, I actually think it's probably a rule that maybe one day it'll go away, and it probably was never intended to. It's like somebody found a loophole, and it doesn't really feel like a real football play to me. So I wouldn't mind if it went away. But like, I'm just adamant that, hey, just because one team learned how to do it and no one else seems to be able to do it, and certainly no one seems to be able to stop it, that is not a reason to change a rule. And the Green Bay Packers should be ashamed of themselves for proposing it. It's hilarious that Nick Sirianni is out there being like, what was his quote? He was like, I already know Kellen Moore is going to vote against it. Shane Steichen is going to vote against it. Jonathan Gannon is going to vote against it. He's like, that Tushman is just the reason they all have jobs with the NFL, which is hilarious.
Right. No. Yeah, that is the reason why they have head coaching jobs, because those led to wins, which led to more eyes being on them, which led them on to be successful coaches. And I really think it is like, where's Shane at? Nick and I were talking about this with something else the other day. Like, if you can't stop it.
Yeah. You can't propose that rule change. You can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Roger Goodell or Rich McKay on the competition committee can say, hey, look, with apologies to the Philadelphia Eagles, we don't think this is the spirit of the game. I mean, didn't they get it in college a long time ago? Why am I remembering the whole Reggie Bush controversy where he pushed Matt Leinart into the end zone? I
Billy was gonna have something to say.
Yeah, but so I understand if somebody who is a rules authority says this is not a rule that we intended to be allowed in the game, we're banning it. A team is not allowed to say, "Hey, we can't stop it. Help!"
No,
the NFC West team should propose some sort of a quarterback's not allowed to throw sidearm when he's on the run rule.
Exactly, you can't throw behind your back, or yeah, something like that. If we want to talk about that, or don't like pause right before you hit the boundary, so like the linebacker has to hit you. Yeah, the Texans are the ones with the real gripes. It's going to be honest with you, but even last year during the owners' meetings, that's when we saw the Rizzy rule go in place, and that's when we saw.
And they're going to tweak that, and I think it's what Rizzy wanted all along. I think Rizzy had kept telling us that they kind of backed off on making the touchback go all the way out to the 35 last year. And he's like, that means teams are just going to they're going to let the touchback happen if it's the 30. So if they get that passed and make it come all the way out to the 35 now, they think teams will be even more incentivized to kick it inbounds and make more returns happen. So he's got a lot of clout. He'll probably get that one done.
Yeah, for sure. And then even going back to last year's owners' meetings, that was a chance. The Saints had just signed Chase Young in. I had a chance to talk with Shanahan about the type of player he was. And, you got some early insight on the different moves that your team has made throughout the free agency period in the offseason. But, Mike, another rule that I heard kicked around, I haven't confirmed it yet, but I know you're anti-chain gang.
Oh,
Think about that over there.
all right. Well, so look, I don't think any of these things are going to get done as early as this week, but we are getting closer to the things like the major, yeah, like the technology and the. I, when I've been anti chain gang since I was covering the 49ers two in the 90s, the late 90s. God, I'm old. Um, and I've been saying it since then that I think the chains are stupid. And I used to think my old rule proposal used to be just every time there's a first down, just actually put the ball on the yard line. And then you have to get to the exact, you're calling it the 34-yard line, put it on the 34-yard line. That was my, or they could, draw the lines all the way across the field. It would look a little different. But I've been thinking about that way before we had technology. Now that we obviously have the technology to do it, I can't believe. And the thing I have against the chain gang, no offense to those people who work very hard, but if you ever watch a football game, yes, they make it look like an exact science when they bring the chains out to measure a football. But when they set those chains down in the first place, they're 50 yards away, running, looking, and then they set it down. It's like an estimate. It's not an exact science. Anyway, that's end of rant. That's going to go away eventually with technology. I think we're going to be able to, did the ball go over the goal line with technology? That's coming soon. I think what we are going to get, though, that I think is very important is let's stop pretending like the officials on the field need to make every call. We all have HD TVs in our living rooms. We know they have them up in the press box. We've seen it work in college football. We've seen the NFL unofficially adopt it. Now let's just go all in and officially adopt it. And unlike college basketball, which is driving me insane, I am pro replay. I am like, get it right. I am like,
yeah,
these sacking the quarterback and getting 15 yards when you didn't really hit him in the head or anything. Stop, just get it right, but get it right quickly. Have the guy buzz down in your ear and say, we just looked at it. It was absolutely out of bounds. He stepped out. All right, cool. Done. We got the right call. And that's actually what they're talking about is you can pick up a flag if somebody buzzes down, like, hey, that wasn't a flag, not the 5-minute delay. I don't mind the slow-mo on the really crucial calls or whatever, but just the get it right rule in the NFL, the common sense replay rule. We're getting closer to that every year. I think that's something that's going to go through this year.
Yeah, and then even going back to how we started with talking about the tush push, people are like against it. Like, it's not like the Yankees that they got somebody from MIT to engineer a bat that's like X amount of like centimeters larger that ends up in like 20 runs scored or something like that. It's a play where it's literally like a cheese wedge. Like, you know where they're going. Stop it. That's all you gotta do. Put your heaviest guys up front and stop it.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm pro tush push. It makes the game kind of exciting to me. You know what's gonna happen. You just have to stop it. That's
one other big thing that they're going to be talking about at the owners' meetings. I think Roger Goodell is going to talk to owners about it. From my understanding, there's no way they can put it in as early as this week. I don't believe is the 18-game schedule. There's going to be a big battle between players and teams and owners over that, and they're going to have to give up some catch sessions on both sides. But look, I'm 100% sure there will be an 18-game schedule at some point. I mean, it's inevitable. When they went to 17, you knew they were going to get to 18 eventually. Take away a preseason game, that'd be good. For fans paying tickets, they'll be paying the same amount of games, but one more of them will be real every other year. My big thing, though, that I've also been pushing for as far back as I can remember is since the advent of Thursday Night Football becoming a weekly occurrence and so many teams playing on Thursdays, 18-game schedule, but every team gets 2 byes, which I think is probably going to happen with an 18-game schedule. And every Thursday night game comes after one of your byes. Like, never again are you playing Sunday, Thursday. One of your byes is your normal bye week that you've always had. Your other bye comes before you play on Thursday night. I can draw it up. I know there'll be a few weird teams that get byes in like week 2 or week 15 or whatever, but I'll live with it to get 2 bye weeks a season and to always have at least 6 days rest between games. So sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up also because, you're going to make the season longer, but that's more opportunities for star players to get injured. And
TV be against that? Yeah.
Exactly. We'll have to see how that shakes out because, man, the season is long. The season, it feels short when it's gone, and it's like, man, where it's football, but when you're in like that week 5 to about week 10ish kind of range, it's like, man, this is this is long, but especially gets longer when you're losing. I'm not gonna lie, it's very
So there,
long. Yeah.
Saints only winning 5 games, 17-game season felt like it might as well have been 37 games last year.
Yeah, for sure. But do you think, like, just off the top of your head, are you like all the way in on that? Because I don't know if the players are gonna go for no 18.
No, I mean, I don't need 18 games. I'm not saying I need 18 games, but even if they stayed at 17 games, I am a 2 buys.
Yeah.
There is no harm in giving these guys more rest and recovery time. Like player safety has been the biggest issue for a decade. I can't believe if you told me what are 2 of the biggest things that have happened in the NFL in the last 15 years, I'd be like, the emphasis on player safety and they now play every night of the week. Those 2 things
Yeah.
are complete
Yeah.
opposites. I remember there used to be 2 buys in the schedule for a few years, and I think one of the main reasons they got rid of it was that TV was like, man, we got some crappy games to choose from every week. And I just feel like with the parity of the NFL, it is true. I mean, you're going to get Raiders versus
Worst
Rams
type.
go on
Yeah.
TV every once in a while, but with fantasy football as big as it is, with gambling legal in every state, Raiders Jaguars matters to a lot of people. People are still going to watch. So, in the name of player safety, I would give teams 2 buys, and then look, the season expands, and now you got President's Day the day after the Super Bowl, and everyone can take the day off work. Or is it President's Day or is it Martin Luther King Jr. Day? That I think it's President's Day is how but I think President's Day is how the calendar would fall if you pushed the Super Bowl back 1 week, and that is a holiday for a lot of people, and it would become even more of a holiday for a lot more after the Super
Yeah. Yeah, Martin Luther King Day is in January, so that's still playoff time. But man, I just want there to be I know it's hard to satisfy everyone, but just to be the best season that you can put out because like the NBA right now, they're having even issues with all right, we have this season, now we're putting this type of tournament mid-season and
Yeah.
playing tournament.
Regular season is way too long, in my opinion. Speaking of back when I used to, I covered that lockout season. I covered the Sacramento Kings. 50 games started in January, and I was like, "This is how it should always be," because no one cares until the playoffs. So 82 games starting in October is nuts.